The gardens were so fundamental to life here just as for subsistence, and the Moravians were lovers of plants. There were a lot of botanists that lived here. Salem had one of the first foresters in the United States. There was a sort of deep history and connection with plants and the Moravians and folks that lived here in Salem. We have 200 varieties in all that we steward here in the seed lab. We want them to be old enough to fit into our time period, sometime between 1760 and 1850. We also want them to be kind of a southern provenance of some sort, and tied to the Moravian story ideally, or tied to this area, the northwest Piedmont of North Carolina. This used to be all behind the scenes up until a couple months ago, really. We moved into this space earlier this year, and we have our horticulture offices here, and the seed saving work space that we've always had, we made public facing. One of the challenges is how to impress the story and the history of these plants to just the casual visitor, so they know that it's not just an orange carrot, that there's many varieties of carrots, and this is one that has a particular history that goes back and may have passed through Salem at one point. The seed lab is one strategy for that, because people can come here and just visit, and we can talk about the seeds and therefore the varieties, and maybe show images and direct people to go and see these plants out in the gardens. There's 3 main gardens. The Single Brothers is our largest garden, which is really 6 individual gardens within a large garden, and those are themed. We have a flower garden, a seed garden, a tree nursery, and perennial vegetable garden, and then we have agricultural crops from Africa, agricultural crops from the Americas, and agricultural crops from Europe. The mixed garden is behind the mixed house, and it's sort of a seed-to-table garden that is used in daily interpretation of the kitchen, the mixed kitchen. And then the tree bowl garden is sort of in between the two. It's also a kitchen garden that is used a lot in the mixed house. These are varieties that are known to be old enough they possibly could have been here in Salem. Some varieties we know, we do have some seed ads that were sold here in the 1830s. Some things do have a tie to the Moravian story. We have a rutabaga that was brought over by Moravian to Broad Bay, Maine, and the short-lived Moravian settlement in Broad Bay, Maine dissolved, and they all moved down to Forsyth County. We don't know that they brought that rutabaga with them, but we have the Charles Hubner rutabaga here, and we grow that. We have a garlic that, according to Williams Boyes Weaver, was brought by the Moravians to the Pennsylvania area, the Maxitawny garlic, and we grow that. And we have a columbine, a double-flowered European columbine that supposedly the Moravians brought over. Just the fact that we have this, there's a sort of a genetic link to the past. It's also a way to experience what it would have been in the past.